It started.
Okay, cool. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining. So today we're going to talk about the 21-day fix and PiYo meal planning. My name's David McKenzie. I am an Emerald coach with Beachbody. If you want to connect with me on Facebook, it's just going to be facebook.com/david.mckenzie. And on Instagram and Twitter, they're both at DavaKE, which is my middle initials. And if you guys want to, live tweet anything that you're hearing during the call, feel free to do so with hashtag DavaFit so I can track the conversation there as well. Introduction. I have been a Beachbody coach since the very end, only 4 short months. But when I really fell in love with Beachbody and when I decided to become a coach, it was because I had did the 21-day fix program. And these are my before and after pictures of doing 4 rounds, that's 12 weeks of the 21-day fix. I can't tell you how many inches I've lost. I was a size 22 dress size, and I am now a size 16. So it's really great progress. I'm really happy with the results, and I can't stop talking about this program because it really changed the way I look at food. And then personally, I tend to get bored with workouts, so I love the fact that it's a different workout every day. And that I don't plateau because I also have a really high tendency to plateau. And that's part of the fact that I have hypothyroidism, or I should say I had hypothyroidism, which means that I have an underactive thyroid, which is the gland that produces the hormone that controls your metabolism. So I have extremely slow metabolism, and I know I have to work doubly hard to counteract that. So for me to get results like this, I'm very proud of myself. And, Autumn's my new best friend, even though she doesn't know it. And I just love her / hate her because then I'm really sore. So again, welcome. Today we're going to go through reading the meal plan and doing the math to figure out which calorie bracket you're in, making your own meal plan and creating a shopping list from that meal plan, what to do if you're getting bored with the food that you're eating, how to get the best results from the program, and then if you're on this call and you don't have PiYo or 21-day fix yet, we're going to go through how you can get it, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. So first thing I want to know is who's doing the 21-day fix right now. If you just want to type in the chat 21-day fix, just so I can get a sense of who's doing what program. And then also who is doing PiYo. Octavia's got 21-day fix. Naria's 21-day fix. So you guys are going to be my new best friends. I just finished doing the 21-day fix at the end of June, and then I switched over to PiYo, so I'm familiar with both programs. Autumn still has my heart. Andrea is going to start 21-day fix on the 18th. Great. So this will be a good prep for you. All right. Oops. Okay, so the eating plans. These little booklets are going to be your holy grail. I don't know if you can see on my 21-day fix, but this thing is so battered and bruised, it no longer has like a back cover for me. That's because I literally carry them everywhere I go. I mean, not both at the same time, of course, but I, in the beginning, would take it with me to work. I would just throw it in my purse or in one of my extra bags, and it went with me. Why? Because sometimes life happens, and let's say I'm queen. I don't know if anybody else is, but I am queen of forgetting things at home. I have forgotten my Shakeology. After I've already mixed it, I have forgotten my lunch. I have forgotten breakfast. I will leave like 1 Tupperware container, but grab the other 3. I bring it with me. That way I know what I can have while I'm out and on the go. On the 21-day fix, it has a restaurant guide. So if you happen to have a business lunch or you're going out on a date night, or you're meeting up with your girlfriends for happy hour, okay, I've budgeted in my plan. I can have that glass of wine tonight, or this is how much lo mein I can have from the Chinese food restaurant. Just take it with you. They're small enough to fit into your purse. So within that, you want to make sure that you're doing the math right for the meal plan that you're doing. Each one of them has the page where you can plug in what's your weight for PiYo. You got to times it by 11, add the 400 for the calories you're burning during your workout, and then subtracting the 600 so that you're creating a calorie deficit. If you've already started these programs and you still feel like, wow, I am really hungry, this is nowhere near enough food, you may have done the math wrong, which don't be ashamed. Like, we all do it, and it happens. And people realize, oh, you know, I should have been in the next calorie bracket up, which I honestly did the first time around. So it was a revelation, to say the least. But then you feel better. You're not so hangry anymore. So make sure you're doing that math right. And then the eating plan. You want to make sure that as soon as you get your guide, that you read it at least 2 times through. I probably read the 21-day fix meal plan maybe 3 times before I actually started doing it, just so I could get a handle on it, just so I could understand. And one of the things that I tell all of my clients now is that don't look at these little containers as containers. You'll see I don't even keep the tops with mine anymore. I look at them like measuring cups. And if you're doing the PiYo, it tells you what size the serving is so that you can use your own actual measuring cup. But on the 21-day fix, these containers, not containers, measuring cups, really. So if you think about it that way, then the meal plan starts making a lot more sense as far as, okay, I can have 6 greens, I can have 6 reds. These are servings, these are, you know, measuring cups full. So once you know what bracket you're in, go to the food list. So in PiYo, it tells you all the different vegetables you can have. You can have kale, and you can have carrots and winter squash and cucumbers. Decide from that list which foods you like. You know, I have never had jicama. I hear good things about it, and maybe one day I will try it. But that probably for me this week would not be a food that I'd have on my list. Nothing against jicama. I prefer quinoa to brown rice. So you know what? Quinoa is going to be on my list and not brown rice. There's also a couple other things on here I can't pronounce. So yeah, they wouldn't be on my list that week. So just go through and maybe, you know, take a star or a check mark. I mean, it's your book. Mark it up however you want. And just mark which foods that you want to eat. After you do that, then you can start creating your meal plan and however you want to do it. Personally, I went ahead and I did sticky notes. I saw this from another YouTube video, and it seemed to be the best way to work for me. So I took a bunch of sticky notes. I don't know if you can see, but I would write things on it like green. So that one's backwards. So just imagine that it says green the right way. This says red. So I have my sticky notes, and I am in the highest calorie bracket. I will be forthcoming with you guys. I currently weigh 260 pounds. I started at over 300 pounds, so we're making progress. But so I am in the highest calorie bracket. So that means on the 21-day fix, I have to eat 6 greens. And I think on PiYo, that's 7 vegetable servings. So I wrote out on each of the sticky notes, 6 different sticky notes that I have greens. And then you can just place it on a board or on your wall. Or I used to use my, you can see in the slide, I was using the top of my laptop when I would do it. And then you'll have a column or a row for breakfast, snack, you can't see, hold on, lunch, dinner. And you can place out where you want to eat each of the sticky notes so that you can kind of make a skeleton of how you want your meal plan to look like. Now, once you have the skeleton in place, then you can go back and fill in what are the actual foods you want. So for my snack, which I would eat before I would work out in the morning, I would do 1 yellow and 3 of my teaspoons on the 21-day fix. So then going back and filling it in, the 3 teaspoons are going to be peanut butter, and the yellow is going to be a whole grain waffle. If you are in the highest meal bracket, it's really hard to sometimes figure out where am I going to eat everything. That's why doing this kind of sticky note skeleton is so key. And then once you do it one time, take a picture and you have it. You can change what the actual individual foods are that fill those containers each time, and that's how you'll get the variety in your meal plan. But you'll always have that skeleton once you do it. And then you can fill it in Excel, you can write it on a pen and paper, what have you. As long as you're planning ahead, that's going to be your key to success. So this is an Excel sheet that I did for the 21-day fix. You can see on Monday I have my total body cardio. I'm in the highest bracket again, so I have 6'4", 6'4", 116. So I'm getting, for breakfast, I have Shakeology with mango and coconut and almond milk. Snack is oatmeal and hard-boiled eggs once I get to work. Lunch is a chopped salad. And again, I would take things with me, so if I know I'm going to eat out, I would bring my containers with me. At work, I have a tendency that I would like I personally like to eat lunch out, and I don't like to bring it into work, and I like to take a break, so I'll go out and grab an apple from somewhere. So I would bring my green container to work with me, and after, once or twice, you start to be able to visualize on your plate how much food this is. So I know from Chopped, one whole salad made with vegetables is going to be all of my 6 greens. So if you're in a smaller meal bracket and you go to Chopped, you might only be able to eat half the salad. So I had that with chicken, and they give you a piece of tortilla, whole wheat tortilla with that. So that was my bread. For a snack, I'd have peanut butter and apple. For dinner, I got this dinner idea from another Instagrammer. They would mix their whole wheat spaghetti with hummus, and it actually tastes really good. And I'd add chicken breast to that. And then for my last snack / dessert, because sometimes I want something a little bit sweet at night, I'd have pineapple and cottage cheese. And that way I was getting in all of my containers. The next one is a meal plan I did for PiYo once I started doing that program. So for this one, I have to have 6 vegetables, 3 greens, 3 fruits, 7 proteins, and 4 fats. So again, this was pretty, like Autumn says, a creature of habit. I like to eat the same thing every day, at least for that week, because then it's easier for me on Meal Prep Sunday to batch it and make it in large quantities. So for dinner this particular week, I had either shrimp or fish with quinoa, mushrooms, and cauliflower, which actually sounds really good right about now. So that was my PiYo one. And then, so if you're getting bored with your recipes, we're all in challenge groups. Take a look at what other people are eating. You can get inspired by them. You can also try and convert some of your favorite recipes and make them 21-day fix friendly or PiYo friendly. So this one I did for breakfast one week. It's basically eggs and vegetables, and then I put them in a muffin tin and made that for breakfast. And I did enough for the whole week, so it was a dozen eggs, divided it by 6. So basically, to convert a recipe, all you need to do is figure out how many containers or how many servings worth of each thing that you're using, and then divide it by the number of servings. So if I did a dozen eggs, 2 eggs is 1 red, so I divided everything by 6 in order to get that. I wound up using 6 greens worth of vegetables. So I did spinach, it looks like, onion, green pepper. So I had 6 of those. So you have 1 red, 1 or half a green. And then I did enough cheese worth. Mrs. Dash seasonings are all free. And then I used a little bit of almond milk, which was pretty much negligible since you need like 16 ounces to equal a yellow. So I didn't count that. But that's how basically you would convert a recipe. Getting the best results. You want to make sure that you're eating all your containers or all your servings. If you feel like it's a lot of food, you just got to try really hard to space them out. I personally went from eating once or twice a day, which was my downfall, because for someone that has a slow thyroid, I was only sabotaging myself to shut off my metabolism altogether because my body did not know where its next meal was coming from. I had to really train my brain and train my body to want to eat every 2 to 3 hours. And that's how I was able to get all my servings in. If you're on one of the lower calorie counts and you feel really hungry, like you're not used to eating such little amount of food, if you're still hungry at the end of the day, add another green serving. It's really hard to overdo it on vegetables. So if you need to take a handful of spinach and make a quick spinach salad, go for it. I give you permission. And then if you really want the best results, you're going to want to eat from the top third of the food list. So it's basically the first, I'd probably say like 7 to 9 things on that list are going to have the least amount of calories. They're going to give you the most bang for your buck, and you're going to get the best results. Also, don't skip a workout. I know when I did it the first time, I often missed a day and I would try to just double up the next day. It's really better for your body as far as what you're eating within that day is if you stay consistent and you do your workouts on the days that you're supposed to. And then also make sure you're drinking Shakeology. So if you're not drinking Shakeology, find your coach and get on it. And then if you are, make sure you're doing it at least once a day. So getting the 21-day fix or PiYo. So if you don't have it yet, it's fine. You're more than welcome to be on this call because it's going to give you a lot of great background for the program so that you're starting off on the right foot. But get in contact with the coach who invited you so that you can get started with these programs. I know a lot of coaches are having programs start on August 18th or September 1st. I personally will have groups starting on both of those days. So if you are one of my people, the links are there, and note that they are case sensitive. But I set up bit.lys for people so that it was easier because I know sometimes our Beachbody links are crazy long. But they're there for you, so if you want to get those programs. Also know that the 21-Day Fix is now in Spanish. So if you have any family members or any friends who speak predominantly Spanish, they prefer to read in Spanish, we have them covered too. So questions. I'm going to go over here to the chat, and you guys can unmute yourself. I don't see any questions in here, but I kind of ran through that really fast. So if you guys have questions for me, now's the time. I will say that since the meal plans are so similar between the two programs, it's really going to be a question of what style workout suits you best and what kind of results you're looking for. But both you'll have amazing results with.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find it tedious to stick to the meal prep every single week?
By tedious, do you mean like a waste of time?
No. I mean like a lot to do.
No, I can make food for the whole week in about like an hour or two. And Andrea is asking if she doesn't cook, can she still be successful? Yes, you can still be successful. And your cooking doesn't have to be extra fancy. And then if you guys follow Autumn on Instagram or on YouTube, she is the least fancy person I have ever met. She likes her food simple. She's like making egg whites and spinach. So if you can handle making eggs, if you can handle making oatmeal, and if you can, you know, throw some chicken with some Mrs. Dash on a George Foreman grill, you know, you're in business. Are you going to have the most elaborate meals ever? No. If you don't mind not having the most elaborate meals ever, you're going to be fine. But you can eat your vegetables raw, and just having that mix of color. I know Allison makes these like beautiful salads that every time she posts one, I like have to have it with like sweet potato and kale and red cabbage. Like colorful food like that and mixing your containers are really going to keep it interesting for you. I think when I hear people saying that they're storing their foods in the containers and they're trying to fit everything for one day in there, that's when you kind of get a little bit stuck and you get a little bit bored because you feel like, okay, my meal is just this one green thing. So you want to mix it up and keep it interesting by combining, you know, your purples and your greens and your reds. Was it Deb with another question? Somebody said
yeah. I have a question. So I'm on the lower end of my bracket as far as with the calories and using the containers, and sometimes I struggle with spreading them out. And I don't feel like I'm hungry, but I do feel like there's certain containers where like obviously you have more than just because it's like the food that I choose or whatever. Just I kind of like always just get confused as far as to like how spreading it out through all my meals throughout the day, so I won't go over that.
Making the meal plan is going to really help you just so that you can see it down on paper, and then you can bring it with you or take a picture on your phone so that you have it timed out of when you're going to eat. Because me, I work in PR from like 9 to 6. The majority of my meals I'm eating while I'm in the office, and if I don't time it out, I will miss a meal or I will and then I'm really hungry later, or I'm trying to, you know, stuff everything in my mouth at the end of the day. So if you can make the meal plan in advance and then maybe put times next to it, because if you're not really hungry but you're finding it hard to to space it out at the right times. Setting times or setting reminders for yourself are going to help. That's my toddler in the background. She finished her snack of apple and peanut butter not too long ago, and I think she's looking for another one.
Yeah.
No?
Look.
Okay, very pretty.
How far are this side?
There was one other thing I wanted to say, and I'm forgetting it right now. Oh, I will say that if you do either program, you should make sure that you, one, take your before pictures and then take your after pictures and submit them to corporate. Because then you can get fun stuff like this shirt. I don't know if you could see it. It says closer every day, and then on the back says 21-day fix. And there is a PiYo shirt as well, but I haven't finished that program yet, so I have to wait for my shirt. And right now, if you start your PiYo by the 20th of this month and you submit your before pictures, you have a chance of being featured in the PiYo commercial. So make sure that if you're not on PiYo and you're interested in getting PiYo, that you get started with that ASAP and talk to your coach so that you can possibly be featured in the commercial. Rita says, my calorie target in PiYo Get Lean is 1461. Should I definitely be in Plan B, or could I consider rounding down? Hold on, let me check this one. I would stay in Plan B until you lose the weight, and then you're completely into Plan A. Because you don't want to waver back and forth between the two. So like if one day you feel hungry, then you bump up or bump down, because then your results will be a little bit off. And you don't want to send your body into starvation by not eating enough calories for your weight. So I would say definitely stick with Plan B until you're solidly in Plan A. But you're not far off from there. Are there any other questions? Again, if not, you guys are more than welcome to email me, call me, text me. You can follow me on Instagram.